Hey there, witches. Welcome to our second season and our first episode of our second season with the Witch Whispers. Today's topic is going to be protection. Miss Carrie, one of my students, has asked us to do a podcast about protection.
And
So
I'm Debbie.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm Anya with Sarah and Witchery.
I'm with If the Broom Fits.
So one of the reasons we're trying to hurry is because we already recorded this once. And it was a little bit longer than usual because this is a very large topic. But Spotify won't let you upload anything over an hour. So we're re-recording it. So let's give this a shot. Debbie, let's go over protection for beginners.
Okay, so I put mine in levels, and level 1 is cleaning, cleansing, and purification. Anya and I kind of do things a little bit different, so you'll hear differences in our procedures, same outcast.
But the thing is, though, all witches are going to do this differently.
Yes,
Remember,
exactly.
It's take what you like, leave what you don't.
Exactly. So if you're a beginner or even an intermediate witch, you've probably heard 1,000 times how important it is to protect yourself and your space. Learn about protection before you attempt anything else in your practice.
If you don't have sex without a condom, you don't practice magic without a protection or a circle of protection or protection. It is vital that you protect yourself when you're doing magical work.
Yeah. So, and that goes for people who have longtime partners.
Right? Exactly.
You're still going to need your protection.
Still need protection.
Okay. So in doing this, you probably have noticed that practitioners like ourselves rarely give you exact information on how to do it. Hence the reason for this podcast.
Right.
So this has a simple explanation. If other practitioners know exactly what you do to protect yourself, they can easily overpower these protective measures and send hexes and other harmful intentions your way, if that's, their jam. That's one important rule about protection. Don't give all your secrets away. If you share one way in which you protect yourself in your home, make sure you have other wards up that no one knows about. One of my personal rules about working magic, and this comes from Anne Mora's Green Witch series.
Oh, I love her.
Never use the power against someone who has the power as you draw from the same well.
That's right.
So that's just crazy. If you're going to work magic against somebody, that the magic you just sent out, you're just going to get right back.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so generally speaking, though, there are 4 levels of protection. In order to cast spells, you should have profound knowledge of the first 2 and have a working experience of the third. The first level of protection is cleaning, cleansing, purifying. This is something you have to do routinely with your home anyway, so yourself and your pets and your magical tools, so do it to your sacred space as well. Whenever you bring something new into your home, magical or not, make sure to clean, cleanse, and purify it as well.
And there's certain things, like if you don't know how to purify stuff, come in and talk to us. Both Debbie and I have products that will cleanse things, remove energy from things. So come in and talk to us if you need help with that.
Yeah, we can help you out. Okay, now for me, just because that's the way my brain works, I have to have clean. Some people work with, organized chaos. I do not work with
organized chaos. I am organized. I am a butterfly. My husband is a grasshopper. It drives him nuts when it comes to styles of organization.
Okay, so no matter how much sage you burn in your home, it won't be purified if you have dirty dishes in the sink, rotten food in the fridge. Likewise, don't expect to be purified yourself if you haven't showered in a couple days. The first step of protection in magic is as mundane as keeping yourself and your home clean and hygienic.
No, but here's where we were talking about the organized chaos versus the other, because I have ADD. So my house is not ever going to be Martha Stewart clean. But if I have to do magic right away, I'll just stay away from the kitchen because the kitchen is dirty or whatever. But you can also do it in a meditative state and not necessarily out in your home, unless that's what you're doing the protection for. Um, Magic is of necessity. So if you don't have time to clean and you want to do your ritual, find a clean area that you can focus in.
Okay, so after cleaning, in my opinion,
Right.
after this is done, we move on to purifying. Purifying is removing the energetic debris that may be present in a person or place. There are many ways to do this. The most popular way is burning incense or something like that. Beware of your pets, though. While you burn incense, they have much smaller lungs than we do, and inhaling the smoke can be harmful for them. Also, there are certain fragrances that you don't want to use around your pets.
Yeah. Tea tree oil, lavender oil,
Mhm.
and misting those or diffusing them in your home, it's toxic for them. You could actually kill your animal.
Let's see. And then, yeah, so, and that goes for like amphibious creatures too. I know some people who have snakes and they think, oh, it's not going to bother them.
Oh, no.
Yes, it will.
They breathe through their skin.
It will bother them very much and could kill them.
Give me a second, Debbie. Hold on.
Did it mess up again?
I've lost my screen completely.
No.
Hold on, y'all. There it is. Okay, it is still recording. We're good. Sorry, guys.
What is going on?
Oh my gosh,
but somebody
horrible.
is trying to stop us from.
I know, right?
I'm telling you guys about protection. This is really weird. There are other ways to purify that don't put anyone's health in harm's way. It's also important to open the windows.
Yeah, very important. As a medium who has gone into a house where people have like burnt sage to the point where I can't walk in. I am allergic to sage. It runs in my family. It is genetic. My sister can't be around sage. My mom can't be around sage. I can't. But one thing is I look at them when they're, with their doorways streaming smoke out. And I'm like, didn't you open a window so that it had a place to escape? And they were like, well, nobody told us that. So,
for one thing, it's smoke.
Right, exactly.
It's the negative energy. What are you going to do with that stuff? It's not like you can flush it down the toilet.
Right, or collect it with a paper towel.
Yeah, you can't throw it in a trash can.
So make sure that you crack. You don't have to open it all the way. Just a crack. They don't have form. They can go out through the little tiny crack.
Right. Think of like a little mouse.
Yes.
Flatten themselves out and go.
Yep.
Another way to purify someone or a place is through sprays. Both of us have aromatherapy sprays that are for doing just this task.
Yep.
You can also use visualization combined with color magic.
Yep.
When using visualization, man, that is a tough word for me. For purification purposes, purple is a great color as it transforms the energy present in a person, animal, place, or tool. White's also a great color to fill up the space.
White blue. I use white blue when I'm doing my house cleansings and my blessings. White blue.
Think about your cleaning products.
Yep.
They're usually white or blue.
Yep.
Sound cleansing is another option, though not as popular. Sounds can trigger those with debilitating hindrances like epilepsy. So know that. If you have other people that are with you, if you're going to have ritual and they're helping you cleanse and all, you need to know that before you use that kind of thing because you might trigger something with them.
The last thing you want is to be cleansing your circle for magical ritual and have someone have an epileptic fit. When it comes to the bowl, specifically the heart chakra bowl, it vibrates at the perfect megahertz to cause a person who has epilepsy to have a seizure.
So be careful of that. That doesn't mean get a different singing bowl. It means
just check with it. You have singing bowls here in the store. And if someone wants to check it out, the first thing we do is we announce to the store,
right?
Is there anyone here who has an epileptic disability or problem? And like your granddaughter has epilepsy, my business partner has epilepsy. So all you have to do is say, hey, does anybody have a problem with epilepsy here? And if nobody says anything, you'll know immediately when you strike that bowl and you start getting that sound to
Right.
move, it can cause someone to have a seizure.
After you've successfully removed the negative energy present, always remember to fill the now empty space with positive energy. If you're burning incense, for example, after you're done with the sage, burn flowers that are safe to burn or other sweet smells to fill up the space and attract positive energy.
And please make sure you do your due diligence when it comes to uh, looking up those herbs. There are herbs that can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Comfrey leaves. If you burn comfrey leaves, it will completely shut down your respiratory system. It will kill you. So make sure that when you're making sure that these herbs are going to fill that voided space that you now have because you cleansed, that it's not going to kill you in the process of doing it. There's several that are not good for burning.
Yeah, that's non-productive.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's not protective. It's just not.
Okay, so level 2 is magical shielding, wards, and spiritual protection. Once your space is clean and purified, you want to protect it from attacks from other practitioners or angry spirits. Yeah,
Or entities,
anything like
ghosts,
that. Yeah.
elementals.
And there are, I don't feel like magic has a color. I know that you work.
I work with colors sometimes too.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I don't call it like black magic, white magic.
I don't usually. I mean, if somebody asks me,
positive or negative, as
right?
far
If
as
somebody
I'm
asks me
concerned.
what kind of witch are you, I'm like, I'm an eclectic witch.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, well, what does that
But
mean? Are you a good witch or a bad witch? It depends on the day and the moment.
But don't be naive and think that there aren't people out there that's not
Oh yeah, no,
going
absolutely.
to work against you.
Absolutely.
So make
There's
sure
always
you know what you're
those
doing.
people.
Which is why we're talking about the protection wards, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
To do this, you can shield yourself using things like a veil or visualization again. You can
Mhm.
also create wards, which are magical objects that have the mission of absorbing any negative energy directed your way. In this shop, it's my crows and my gargoyles.
Mhm.
They're always up there. People are like, they're so cute. I'm like, yeah, I know, but they're working their little tuchus
And
off.
in my apothecary, it's my altar cloths of Sekhmet and Isis. But then I also have my uncles who have passed away and crossed the veil. They come in and hang out here because they like the ghost Henry that hangs
Oh,
out
yeah,
on
we
your
have
side of the
Henry.
shop.
Yeah, we have Henry over there.
So
there can be, these things can be as simple as a bowl of sea salt under your bed, selenite sticks above your door, windows, or complicated as a protective spell jar. I put wards up at the front door. There's one for protection all the time. So,
and you can always get big chunks of stone or a potted plant if you don't have your own yard, like you and I both live in an apartment. So it would be in a potted plant and not necessarily right outside the door planted in the ground.
Yeah. So during this step, you usually ask for protection from spirits, elements, elementals you trust. A good start is your ancestors or deity you know well. You can also ask the spirits of the land for help. Pay attention to, I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just going to say, when you ask the spirits for the land for help, you might want to be a little bit careful about that. There are
diligence.
Exactly. You have to really look if, pardon me, if that land was stolen, and most of us are on stolen land, the land might be angry.
Yeah.
You might need to do some reparations to the land in order for the land to work with you. So again, due diligence. If you don't know how to do that, if you need help, if you have questions, come in and talk to us. Call us. We can help you.
We're happy to help you. That's part of what this shop is about. It's teaching.
Exactly.
So you need to pay attention to your wards, though, like anything else. When they appear dull or even break, it means that someone is trying to go through your defenses, or they've just gotten old and,
exactly
congested.
I mean, think about it. You wear, like, you and I both wear amulets. I have an opal. I have a fire opal, and Debbie has a fluorite around her neck. We still wash these. We cleanse these. When I do my opening ritual, when I cleanse my apothecary, I put my necklace over that smoke and I cleanse it so that any ick from yesterday isn't on there for today.
And when I'm done, I lean over and
Mm-hmm.
do my own personal
There you go.
cleansing.
There you go.
So, wards aren't always effective when keeping evil away, but they never fail to buy you some time and give you fair warning, which
Yeah.
is why you should keep at least a few up at all times.
I use my wards as an alarm. I have
Mhm.
wards around my apothecary. I know when you or Bonnie are coming in. I know
Mhm.
when there's customers that are not a recognizable energy that I understand.
Mhm.
And I usually am texting you or Bonnie with who's in my apothecary
Mhm.
because my alarms go off. Hey, there's someone in the apothecary that doesn't have
Mhm.
permission to be in there.
Right.
Now, you and Bonnie, when you guys come in, it's almost like the bells on the door.
Right.
Ching, 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 ching. Oh, okay, it's Debbie or Bonnie.
Yeah.
Or it's Jim.
Mhm.
Or it's Bailey. It's people who are supposed to be in here. But if it's
Right.
not, I hear like the klaxon from Star Trek, red alert,
Mhm.
letting me know that someone's come in. So
Mhm.
they can be an alarm system just as much as a defensive system.
Yeah. And defense is not bad.
Not at all.
Okay, so the third level is banishing spells. When your wards fail and a hex or an unwanted spirit takes firm root in your energetic space, you can remove the negativity from your area by using banishing spells and rituals. And you will need to come in and talk to one of us or do
Yes.
a lot of research to find out what's correct and right for you. Because, there's not a one shoe fits all.
No. Well, witchcraft isn't one shoe fits all.
No, it's
It's
not.
take what you like, leave what you don't.
Yeah, there's so many people though. I'm having this problem and that problem. What do I do? Okay, I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
and then you decide.
exactly.
Okay.
Because what's right for me isn't right for Debbie. What's
Mm-hmm.
right for Debbie may not be right for me.
Correct.
Debbie practices very Gaelic
In
pantheon
Norse
and Norse
combined.
pantheon combined, whereas I'm more Egyptian pantheon. I know other pantheons. I've worked with other gods and goddesses throughout the
Mm-hmm.
pantheons, but I have a tendency to go towards Egyptian. So if you come in, we may look at you and say, "What pantheon do you follow?"
And just to let you know, that's what I'm studying right now is Egyptian because I
Nice.
want to know
Yeah.
what you practice so we can communicate.
Yeah, no,
so I don't sit
absolutely.
there like a deer in the headlights when you're talking about something. What?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
exactly.
about. I do know what you're talking about now.
Right.
Egyptian called to me when I first got started,
Mhm.
but then quickly it was like, this isn't working for me.
Ooh, there's a podcast,
Yeah.
Egyptian Pantheon, because that's where all the other pantheons originated from, was from the Egyptian
And
pantheon.
it just didn't jive with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Egyptian didn't jive with me until I was in my 50s.
Yeah,
is when it started jiving for me.
I think it's probably around mid 30s, late 40s. I'm not telling you how old I am. That the Celtic Gaelic moved in. I've always been drawn to Norse.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Makes sense.
So I just kind of added that to it. Now, level 4, remember, you've got to know the other two before you do either one, banishing or binding. Level 4 is binding. And make no mistake, as far as I'm concerned, that is shadow magic.
It is.
It is.
It
you
is
are
dark
taking
magic.
someone else's will away from them.
And their power away from them.
So binding means tying a person's symbolic hands together so they're not able to do any more harm either to others or themselves. Think of what was that? I forget what the name of the movie is with all the girls and they were witches and I
can't remember.
Can't remember what it was. But anyway.
Damn, I should know the name of that.
I know.
The Craft. The Craft.
How stupid of me.
Jiminy Lord. We both know. We both watched it several times. The Craft.
Bunch of times.
The Craft.
But, I mean, at the end, they bound her. So she could do no harm to herself or others.
Right.
So think on that.
But understanding, too, that it is a gray or dark magic. So it will have, for some people, pretty serious repercussions.
And not only that, it says binding in the spell. They are bound to you. You are binding them to you because you are holding them tight.
Okay? Which means any problems that they might have might show up in your world too.
Mm-hmm. Most practitioners consider bindings to be baneful, dark, shadow magic
Mhm.
because you're influencing another person's actions and intentions without their specific consent.
Well, and let's talk about that for a moment. Debbie
Mhm.
and I both feel very, very strongly that when it comes to love spells, there's a reason we don't have them here. And it's because you are trying to bend another person's will to your own.
Correct.
That is unethical. And for us to teach you how to do that is just as unethical.
I do have, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here.
No,
I
you're
do
good.
have one love spell in there in my spell
Mhm.
bags, but it is a love spell to
So fun.
open you up
Right.
for love, not to go out and get.
And see, that's the difference. You're opening yourself up to
Mhm.
receiving that
Mhm.
energy. You are not forcing such and
Exactly.
such. It makes me, it reminds me very much of practical magic and the woman who wanted that man.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I want
Exactly.
him. I want him. I want him to think of no one but me. And
Mhm.
Aunt Jet warned her. She said, be careful what you wish for.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
she's binding him to her.
Right.
And in some cases, I've read that if you bind someone to you and they die, you could possibly also expire as well, because
And not
depending on
only
how bound you are to them.
and not only that, when you're in the euphoria, if you will, of
Yes.
love,
Yes.
you don't necessarily see that person for who and what they are. You don't know what they're like. And then after you've lived with them for a year, are you going to get beat up?
Yeah.
Are they going to turn into this malicious
Narcissistic jerk.
person?
Yeah.
Well, you just bound yourself to them.
Yeah.
So,
and unbinding is going to be just as hard as the
just
binding
as hard, if not harder sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Because you're taking away the power of someone else.
Yep.
In dire situations, however, sometimes binding is the only option left, even if it's baneful magic. I personally don't judge practitioners who bind suicidal friends, a harmful demon they can't banish, or relentless bully.
Yeah.
You may also suffer the effects of bindings yourself if you're trying to thwart a spell of another practitioner. And I would go one step further and say you will suffer consequences.
I know that there's a lot of people who don't believe in the 3 times 3 times 3. I have to tell you, in my now 20, almost 28 years of practicing, it happens 3 times 3 times 3, to the point where they come in and go, my magic doesn't work. And I look at them and go, what'd you bind?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I bound this one guy.
And for me, it's not, I don't put a number to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be as hard as what you did.
Yeah, karma's a bitch.
It's going to come back at you just as hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only done baneful magic 5 times in my entire time. And each time it was like, okay, I'm willing to suffer the consequences. That's how much I need this done.
And then there's also the cautionary tale. I know of a practitioner who did a binding on a person who was trying to remove a child from the home. The person that was trying to remove the child from the home was not a healthy person to begin with. Suffered from several mental dysfunctions, abuser, like on par with some of the worst abusers that you watch TV shows about. When this practitioner bound that other person, within 2 weeks, that person did actually unalive themselves. And it was part of the binding. There was some serious kickback on them. They had some health problems after the fact. But because they did it with love, and the only reason they were doing it was because they didn't want that child to be removed from the home. There's a good reason behind it, but there's still going to be kickback.
Right.
It's like shooting a gun. When you shoot a gun, there's a kickback from the gun. If you're not prepared for it, it'll break your nose.
Right.
It'll break your shoulder.
You have to do your due diligence. We can't stress that enough.
Or come in and ask us, talk to us.
And still do your due diligence.
Right, exactly.
Because I don't know about you, but yes, I have mentors and people that I talk to, and that's all well and fine, but I want to find out for myself. I'm one of those people that has to stick my hand in fire to make sure it's hot.
Well, and like I tell my students, my Witchcraft 101 students all the time, I am not the only teacher in this world. And some teachers, like I was talking to one of my really good girlfriends, and she went to a basic magic class again. She goes, It wasn't anything I didn't know, but there was some stuff that was presented in a different perspective that made me went, oh crap, I forgot about
Forgot
that.
all about that.
So again, with the take what you like, leave what you don't, you can go talk to 35 different practitioners and then weed through it and decide what you like and what you
What
don't
works
like.
for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, in short, the 4 levels of protection are cleaning, cleansing, and purifying, setting up wards, asking for protection and shielding, banishing, and binding. You have to know the first 2 in detail and have working knowledge of banishing with the first 2 levels understood and control before you are ready to cast other spells. Okay? So, you got to learn your basics first. Don't go and try and, whip on somebody without knowing what the heck you're
Well, and
doing.
again, if you don't practice sex without a condom, don't be doing this stuff with magic unless you know what you're doing and to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. Casting a basic spell to grant spiritual armor or shield oneself from harm can seem daunting at first. However, following some simple steps makes the process intuitive for blessing yourself with protective energies. Protection spells grant the new witch confidence and control. With just a few herbs, candles, and crystals, beginner spellcasters can manifest an invisible shield or safety around people and places. Uh, so you thought these candles, colors, herbs, crystals were just pretty and for show? No, I don't sell those things just cause.
Crystals have a vibration, and those vibrations have scientifically been proven to alter the body, to alter cells, the memory of cells. It's been shown to alter the vibration of water and so on and so forth, which is why I make my gem elixirs. Stones have metaphysical properties, and if you don't know which ones you're using and why you're using them, you could cross, like for example, for me, I had a noob, not a noob, a novice witch come to me and they were like, I just got really called to this lapis lazuli and now I'm being haunted. Well, yeah, because you just opened your third eye like a freaking Golden
Mm-hmm.
Gate Bridge
And had no
and
protection.
had no protection. So do your the due diligence isn't just with a spell, it's with your tools as well, the stones, the herbs, your athame, your bowling, whatever it is you're using. You have to know the how to connect with that energy so that you can work with it and flow with it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it's like driving a car. You got to know how to.
Oh God, first time I ever drove
You
your
have
car,
to
I was
put
like,
your
where the
foot.
hell is drive? Like,
Use the middle pedal
you're
to
right.
stop. Yeah.
Right?
So know what you're doing before you. This is uh, no pun intended. Next level stuff you're talking about here.
Yeah, this is for beginners, yes, but it is for more intermediary thing. If you are more of a novice witch and this kind of stuff scares you, come into us. Like we said, we have plenty that can help you that you don't have to give a whole lot of thought to. So, like, for example, Debbie has tar water. That's really great for protecting yourself once you've cleansed your home. I have Obliterate. I also have Kayam, which is instant ritual space in a spray. So if you don't know how to do this, come in, call us, ask us, because we can help you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so select your spell type and effects. When planning your first protection spell, first decide what specific results you want to obtain. To reiterate, some possibilities include warding off negativity and bad luck, shielding against harmful people, which is technically dark magic, but it's one of those things that you have to do.
Now, when I teach my psychic self-defense class, which by the way, y'all, is coming up in March. If you want to get tickets, go see my website. But when it comes to personal is a little bit different because you're out and about. This is when you're going to the grocery store, when you're at work, dealing with people at work, when you go into, even when you come in here, you should have personal protection because you don't know who else is already in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I agree with you. Personal protection can be seen more as like
It
gray
can.
or dark.
Right.
Because you are effectively keeping things out
Mm-hmm.
of your space.
Just think of your lock on your front door.
Yep.
Then deterring danger while traveling. I do that every time I get behind the wheel.
Yep.
Spiritual armor against magical psychic attacks, banishing threatening entities or energies. It's all considered like on the edge of being dark magic, but it's something that you have to do.
But here's the thing, if you go and you cleanse your house and all of a sudden the paranormal activity ticks up, you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get someone like me or you or a priest or a priestess of someone you trust that you know has the ability to really cleanse the house, because let me tell you, they are not going to be happy.
Yeah.
I had one client whose daughter was a teenage, and just got into witchcraft, and she saged the whole house, and all of a sudden, cabinets started slamming in the middle of the night when no one's home. They even set up cameras and you could see them open and close by themselves.
Yes,
Knives
'cause
being
that
thrown
energy is
across the
pissed.
counter, and they sent me this video and I'm like, what? And they're
Mhm.
like, we need your help. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
because if they're pushing knives across the counter, how much longer before they have enough power to pick it up and throw it?
Right.
So
Right.
be careful when you're doing this stuff. If all of a sudden you feel like you're out of your depth, great. Find an elder. Find
Mhm.
someone who can help you. Start making phone calls.
Yeah, and don't feel bad about doing that. You are not born on this earth with all knowledge.
None of us are. Jiminy
So,
criminy.
yeah, I learn
None
stuff
of
all
us
the
are.
time. Okay, some of the let's see. Excuse me, I'll back up here one more time. Maybe my tongue will unwrap
Take two.
from my nose.
Take two.
Once you determine the type of protection spell, next choose suitable tools and ingredients. Tailor your selections to the specific intent and effects desired. Some options for those include under herbs, basil drives away hostile entities.
It's also protective.
Rue, which dispels negativity. This is a caustic herb that can cause burns. Be careful of pets and kids.
Yeah, rue. I had a landscaper tell me, "Oh, plant rue right next to your rose bushes because aphids hate rue."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had no idea. I thought it was a bush,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, okay, be careful. And I ended up going into urgent care because I had welts
Yep.
on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor even said to me, "What were you doing?" I was like, "Well, I was cutting rue." And he was like, "Rue?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a big clip up cut." And he actually had to go to his little dictionary. Doctors do have those. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh my God, this is highly caustic.
Mm-hmm.
You should be wearing like sleeves
Mm-hmm.
and gloves, and the gloves should be over the sleeve
Yeah,
because
you
it
gotta
will
know what
it
you're
will
working with.
burn you. You don't want to burn rue because it will
It'll go in
it'll
and
hurt
burn your lungs. Sage is for purification, and you want to.
Oh, white sage. We don't use white sage because the Native American community, First Nations, have asked us colonializers, and I am as colonial as they get. I am as white as a sheet. They have asked us not to use white sage because it is very, very beautiful for them. But also be careful with sage because it is a very heavy smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have asthma or if you have any kind of breathing issues, sage can make it worse.
And there's lots of other sage, purple, blue.
Mm-hmm. The only thing you need to avoid to honor the First Nations is the white sage.
Be respectful of that. Salt blocks and absorbs ill will. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to use.
But you don't want to throw it on the ground.
No, because that's bad for your.
It'll burn the earth and nothing will grow for 5 to 10 years.
The next one, Palo Santo, calming, purify your space, and invigorates your mind.
I love Palo Santo. It's one of my favorites.
See, I don't, because it's that black licorice smell.
See, and I love black licorice. I can eat black licorice all day long.
Oh.
You have to be careful about black licorice, though, because it is toxic to the body.
Yeah.
You can have like 4 a day. That's it.
Yeah, I have none.
Yeah, I'll eat. It. I used to buy kookaburra, and I used to have to like individually bag them to 4 because I'd sit there and just shove them out. I love black licorice.
Mm-hmm. Jim's the same way. Seasonal greens. That is very powerful and it draws the power of nature. Right now, I have cedar in here for the
Mhm.
season because it's so great at um, drawing in the nature. Crystals for this are black tourmaline. It deflects negativity. Obsidian shields against psychic attacks. Smoky quartz transmutes fear and pain.
Pretty much any black
Mm-hmm.
stone, jet,
Mm-hmm.
obsidian,
I love
tourmaline.
black kyanite.
Oh, black
Love it.
kyanite's beautiful.
Love it. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
So if it's a black absorbs negativity. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason witches wear black so much. And it's because it absorbs the negativity around us.
Candles, white restores harmony. Black, again, like Anya said, absorbs and binds ill intent.
Mhm.
Purple boosts spiritual shielding, which people don't understand. You're going to be depleted
Yeah.
of energy.
Yep.
So draw on that purple. Other options, bells. Sound
Hmm.
clears energy. Again, be careful of the sound thing.
Hmm.
Cords binds protective uh, charms. Tiger's eye, courage and willpower.
And tiger's eye actually comes in several different colors. So look and make sure. I mean, they're all protective, but they have different little veins.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like red is more protective of love in the body, whereas blue is more protective of the emotions in the mind. So, really, again, even though we're giving you this list, please, please, please do your due diligence before you use them in a spell.
mm-hmm. And you can work with all of these or some of these
Or none
together.
of them.
Combine a blend of herbs, crystals, and other artifacts that resonate with your goal. I mean, that's how you learn.
Well, and if you don't know about the herbs or you need help with the herbs, come in. Debbie has a very nice selection. And if we don't have what you do, we will refer you to someone up the street from us who actually has a plethora of herbs called the Dragon Herbarium. I've had clients come
Mm-hmm.
back with what they've bought at the Dragon Herbarium, and I've actually helped them to crush their herbs and more with mortar and pestle so that
Mm-hmm.
they can feel, but they don't have mortar and pestle and they don't have the money to buy a mortar. Well, come in here. I will help you do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're both like
Yep.
that. Let us see how we can
Let
help.
us see what we can do. I don't know about you, but when I do something like that, I don't charge for
It's
it. So
fun. I love
I
to.
enjoy
I mean,
doing
the
it.
only way that I'm going to charge is if it's like it's going to take 2.5
Yeah,
hours of my
yeah, if it's a
time.
lot. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say, okay, let's talk about a charge here. But I'm
Mhm.
not going to charge you what I would for a reading.
Right, right. Okay, so prepare your sacred space. Once you gather ingredients, you'll need to set up a sacred space for your protection spell work. This focuses energy and primes the environment. Begin by physically and energetically cleansing the area. As we said, you can use sage, incense, bells, drums, rattles, etc., or your own techniques to clear stagnant energies. Next, set up an altar, table, or workspace with your selected artifacts and ingredients. Now, this doesn't have to be something that's out all the time. You can put it in a tray, you can put it in a drawer, that when you're going to work with it, you take it out of the drawer and set everything up. It does not have to be permanent. So lay down a cloth that symbolizes protection or makes you feel safe. Arrange your herbs, crystals, candles, and tools in a meaningful pattern. I know a lot of people say that they have to be placed a certain way. I'm here to tell you it's still going to work. And if it makes you happy to put your athame on one side that the books say not to, do it anyhow. Place symbols of inner strength like a shield, sword, or staff. I have my athame. Add a dish of salt to purify space. Salt also absorbs the negativity, so it's a good thing to have on your altar. Keep a fireproof bowl or cauldron to burn paper spells. Have a matches or lighter ready, because I can't tell you how many times that I've gone to do a spell and the last thing I forgot was a lighter or matches. And then I'm left to just have to break my space and go and get something like that. So gather up everything, make yourself a list before you start working on things like this.
And a warning I'm going to tell you right now, you will forget something.
Oh, and don't beat yourself up over
No.
it. Have a good laugh, because I guarantee you, deity and your ancestors are laughing their asses off.
We told you to bring the matches. Ha ha ha! You left them by the fireplace.
Take time to calm your mind, big one. Ground and set the intention of creating a sphere of protective light around yourself or others. Your preparations are now complete for manifesting safety through spell work. And for beginners, for novices, I would say do this by yourself a few times so you don't feel
The anxiety of the people around
of
you.
other people around you, or you're intimidated. You don't want them to hear you. They're in the other room watching TV, and they're watching a battle scene, and you're trying to do this.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Well, and not only that is if you can't be in a headspace where you can be uninterrupted, maybe it's not the time to do the ritual.
I used to get up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to do it by myself, and then my husband got up and stood there and watched me for a few minutes, and I was scared he was going to be really angry. I mean, I was in my 20s,
right?
And I went, how long you been standing there? Long enough to see what you're doing. And I asked him, are you upset by this? He goes, no, can I join you? I was amazed. I was totally amazed, but I had been hiding it for probably about 6 months after we got married.
Well, and I used to take, like when my kids were younger, they're both in their 30s now, but when my kids were younger, I would wait until they were in bed. And then now my ex-husband would not practice with me, but he would lay on the couch while I was doing it, just being quiet, and he always fell asleep. But I was able to do my ritual, but he was there in case of an emergency or if I needed something. But he always, I mean, literally, I'd cast the circle and he was out, but it was always quiet. And there were some nights where I'd have to wait until 1, 2 in the morning because the kids were up or,
and it's not
whatever.
A bad thing to do that. You feel more confident when you're by yourself, because if you make a mistake, it's like,
or it's like,
yourself, but if you make a mistake in front of other people, it's going to embarrass you and you're going to lose confidence. So exactly, being a a solitary practitioner is not a bad thing to start out with. It's actually kind of good.
It is.
So then the next part is focus intention and cast the spell. With your sacred space ready, now comes the active spell casting phase. First, center your mind and clearly state your protective intention aloud. You may choose to invoke higher powers or simply draw from inner divine force. Now I say state your intentions aloud, because I think it's a good teaching mechanism.
Well, and it also helps you remember.
If you do it to yourself, then it's easy to say, oh, I don't really need that right now. I'll do that later. Yes, you do.
No, you always need it. You always need it.
Always, always, always. Did we say always? Yes, always.
Underline, italic, bold, always.
Highlight, always.
Right.
Some potential actions to begin casting the spell. Light the candles with focus on their symbolic meaning. I mean, you pick that candle and that color, why? Apply herbs, oils, or crystals to your body and or tools while visualizing a glowing aura of safety around you. Now, it doesn't have to be a glowing aura. It could be anything you want. If you want to see swan wings around you, do it.
That reminds me of Isis's wings of protection. One of the prayers to Isis is, fold me inside your wings and keep me safe.
Anything like that. Chant rhythmic incantations or vocalize a repeated mantra of power.
And it could be something as simple as, I am a powerful being. I am a powerful being. It doesn't have to be Latin. It doesn't have to be anything special. It could be simply, I am power. I am power. I am power.
Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly. It's your spell.
Ring bells or drums. I would say beat the drums because you can't ring them.
Or rattles.
Rattles, anything like that to raise the vibration, the energy.
Some people will dance in their circle to raise energy too.
Dance or move, sing or hum intuitively to build spiritual force.
Yep. because
That's a
you
great thing.
want that motion. Because, okay, for me personally, I have ADD. Don't ask me to sit lotus style and float. It's not happening. My brain doesn't do that way. It just doesn't work that way. You give me music and I can dance. I've gotten some of the most beautiful information from my gods and goddesses while I am trance dancing. The name of my company being one of them. While in ritual space, I was trying to come up with the name of my company, Saren Witchery, and it was during a dance meditation. It was given to me. So
Nice.
dancing can also, it's not something where you're sitting there quietly. If you want to do that, all the more power to you, babe. Do it. But for people like me, that doesn't always work for us because we are a movement based, neurodivergency. And so do what works for you.
Yeah. I would say try just about
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them,
Yeah.
because how are you going to know that it works for you if you don't try it?
I've gone in from meditation into a nap, and I've had some of the most wonderful prophetic dreams I've ever had in my life by falling asleep during a
During
meditation.
a meditation.
Because you go into a theta state.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be mad at yourself if you fall asleep during your meditation. Don't be mad at yourself if all of a sudden one of your candles go out. Shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that the kids just came in and opened the door and all of a sudden the candles all go out and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. Just go back and go, sorry guys, sorry, here, let me relight you.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all you have to do. Don't beat yourself up.
Intent is one of the most important tools that you have.
Burn petitions or intent written on paper or herbs.
Okay, can I do the fire safety talk, please?
Sure,
Ooh, can I? Ooh, can I? Please, we are conditioned in society to look around where we are burning stuff, and that's great. You should. It's very important to do that. Don't skip that. However, one of the things that my teacher, Miss Cleta, always said that it just made me laugh because I know it's true. And I've actually seen it happen in the 28 something odd years now that I've been doing this. But you have to remember to look up. Heat rises. You do not want to be the witch on the 6 o'clock news that burnt down their house during a ritual because your candles were too close to the curtains.
Mm-hmm. And that's easy to do.
It is.
Easier than you think.
You need to look up above what you are burning, whether it's in a cauldron, you want to, is that cauldron metal? Are you putting it on wood? Is the metal going to get hot? Will it burn the wood underneath it? Think about these things. Fire safety. Again, you do not want to burn your house down or even harm your family or your pets or whoever because, something got on fire and we weren't paying attention.
There's also make symbolic gestures like crossing your arms in an X across your chest, a pinnacle in the air, etc. Anything like that.
You can do a number of things.
I'm sorry?
You can do a number of things.
Oh, yeah, lots of things.
Sigils.
Let instincts guide your words, movements, and actions. Continue building the spell's potency through sound, motion, and will until you feel it take form as a radiant shield. Stay centered in complete trust of the magic, sealing your spiritual armor or barrier. And I get that a lot. How do you know it worked? Well, how'd you feel?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were protected? Did anything weird happen?
Well, and
you have to put it to trust.
Yeah. Well, and here's another example too. If you're in there, be aware. This is an experiment, right? In a way to know what works and what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So, always have a notebook and a pen and make notes. Notice that after 15 minutes, I can't focus anymore. Because you're learning about yourself while you're learning about magic.
That should be your first book of shadows.
It should be.
Because you will go back to that all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's hurry through this next because we're coming up on our time here. So activate and maintain the spell. Once complete, rituals for activating and maintaining the spell help integrate its long-term power. Ways to activate may include leaving candles to completely burn down. Never leave open flame. I'm just going to say that again.
Thank you.
Burying spell remnants in the earth. Be careful. Make sure of what you're burying. One of the things that I used to do is I had a clay jar and I would put my remnants in it and bury that.
Yep. You
So
could
it
do
didn't
that.
harm the earth.
Yeah, you could.
Um,
Because if you're
tying,
burying a big thing of salt, you're going to kill everything around
right,
it.
right. Tying charged herbs or crystals into a bundle carried on your person.
We call that a mojo bag.
Yep. Placing charged stones or symbols above doorways or property lines. We have selenite over every doorway in the shop.
And window.
And window, yes. To maintain the spell, daily reaffirm your shielding visualization or meditation on the desired outcome. I mean, you walk past your altar, or you walk past whatever you've done, you go in and out your front door, just put it
And
out
it could
there.
be something as simple as one word that you programmed. Hello, goodbye. Hello means please open up for me. Goodbye means okay, wards up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wands to the ready.
Yeah, got wands at the ready.
Let's see. Placing charged stones or symbols above doorways or property lines. I said that already.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Then to maintain the spell is daily reaffirm your shielding. Keep charged artifacts like pouches or talismans nearby for ongoing influence. A lot of people, like you said, they carry their mojo bag on them all the time or in their car. Repeat specific chants or rituals on a regular basis to reinforce the effects. Designate a time, monthly or weekly, to reconsecrate the tools. Pay attention to signs in case a recharge becomes needed. And you'll know that where it doesn't feel as strong anymore. Or I'm not sure this is still working. If you're not sure, then it's not working.
Yeah.
So redo it.
Mm-hmm. It's time to reassess.
Mm-hmm. With consistent effort, your protection spell can remain activated for as long as desired. Years, months, weeks, days.
Yep.
Adjust maintenance practices based on the spell's initial potency and your own intuitive feel.
So another time that you might need to maintain it is, say, for example, you have a bunch of people come over to your house and some of those people are really toxic. You might want to pull that ward down, do another cleansing, and reapply the wards to your area because you need to let the out
Mm-hmm.
and then redo the wards, because every time toxicity comes in, it'll punch a hole in those wards.
Mm-hmm.
Not that this person's doing it, well, not necessarily on purpose, but it is something that you really have to look at.
And you have to learn.
Yeah.
And pay attention to your feelings.
Absolutely.
In conclusion, casting a protection spell as a beginner may seem mystifying at first glance, but following basic steps makes the process smooth and rewarding. With the right focus, intention, and spell components, you can manifest an aura of spiritual armor tailored to your needs for both the short and long term. Remember that protection magic requires responsibility and care. I'm going to read that one more time.
Yes, please emphasize that.
Remember that protection magic requires responsibility and care. And I would wager to say anytime you work any kind of spells,
it's all about
responsibility and care.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid spells that seek to manipulate others or control situations without consent. Again, that's dark magic. Instead, craft spells from a place of wisdom, safety, and divine alignment. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've had students come in going, this person is really bothering me, but I don't want to do baneful magic. Can you help me? And I'm like, sure. Let's look at a different way to make this sentence into a positive. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're having a hard time or if you're really finding yourself stuck on something, come in and talk to us, call us, email us. We can give you some pointers or some tips and maybe help you to reconnoiter it, mm-hmm. or redo the vocabulary so that it is more of a positive end.
It needs to be positive when you work it, yeah. With practice, spellcasting becomes second nature. Create your own unique spells by blending ingredients, rituals, and symbols that resonate with you, hence the notebook. As your path unfolds, protection magic grants the space to walk forward with courage, clarity, and empowerment. It's to help you learn how to do the big stuff later.
Right. Exactly.
Above all, like Anya and I have both been stressing, do what feels correct and right for you. learn everything you can, and then weed out what doesn't work for you, and the rest is gravy.
Well, and again, there's, we're going over these saying, do this, do this. Intent is everything. I mean, so you don't have jet or onyx or obsidian, but you have a dark blue stone that kind of looks black. Can I use that? Absolutely. Tell the stone what it is you would like for it to do to you. It's like programming it,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Any stone, actually, you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that with rose quartz.
You can do it with any stone.
Because that's love.
You can do it from a piece of gravel. You can do it from a piece of concrete.
I have river stones in here.
There you go. But I mean, if you were to pick up a piece of concrete in a construction zone that was really big, you could paint it and do all sorts of stuff to it and ask it to vibrate like a quote unquote, like black tourmaline. Ask it to vibrate like onyx, and it will.
Mm-hmm.
It
takes a little bit more work, a little bit more effort.
Yeah,
but in the end,
exactly,
it's perfect.
So that's it for season 2, episode 1 for protection. Next month, we hope to have it out sooner and get rid of all of the glitches that we've been experiencing. But next month, we're going to be talking about elements and elementals. There is a little bit of a difference between elementals and an element, and we will talk about that next month. Also, if you are looking for psychic self-defense, you can go to www.sarenwitchery.com. I am teaching an in-person psychic self-defense class on March 29th from noon till about 5. It's very hands-on. It's all practical after you get the lecture. Debbie also has several products that protect, cleanse, as do I. So you can come in and see us here or give us a call. Thank you so much for hanging out for us today. And
and anytime you need something, please come into If the Broom Fits. Anya's Saren Witchery is in If the Broom Fits.
That's right.
We're both usually here.
And if I'm not here, the girls know how to get a hold of me.
Yep. We know how to get a hold of each other.
If they're not here, I know how to get a hold of them. So we always have open communication, even if it's, okay, we'll need to make you an appointment, but here's the information you need.
Yep.
So
we hope you're enjoying the podcast, and we'd really love your feedback. So if you don't like something, if you do like something,
or ideas of what we could do, we are very grateful to Carrie for giving us our topic today. And we really do hope that you have a wonderful March. We're almost to Ostara at this point. Oh my God, only one more month, and Ostara begins. So yay for spring.
A little bit warmer weather.
Yes, please. I'll just take more
Although I like the cold weather.
I know, you like the cold and rainy. I'm like, sunny and hot for me, please. But that's because I'm a July baby and I like hot. So... all right, guys. Well, blessed be. Take care.
Have a lovely month.
We will talk to you next month.